What is up, guys? It's Andrew with MyWatchAddiction.com, and today we have a little bit of a watch review for you. Today we are going to be taking a look at the prototype of the Viaggio from Vesuviate Watches. Now, this guy is going to be coming up on Kickstarter towards the end of the month, so I wanted to get this video out and get my thoughts out about it, and we'll take a look at it with you guys, see what I think. Before we get started though, guys, down there in the right hand corner of the screen is that subscribe button. Go ahead and smash that guy, ding that bell so you get notified anytime we have a new video drop in the future. And trust me, I've got a lot coming up in the future. Let's see here. We need to complain about gas prices. We need to definitely go through and do a state of the collection so you guys know kind of where I'm at from my watch collection standpoint. But we also want to talk about the watch collecting hobby in general. I have some ideas for things that I think are pretty cool and I want to share with you guys, so definitely stick around for those. But guys, before we dive into this Viaggio, the watch of the day is another Kickstarter watch. It is the Angel Falls Diver from Mondragon. Now, this is a watch that I've had in my collection for a while, probably 2 or 3 years now. This watch doesn't get a whole lot of wear, just primarily because it's a little bit on the big side, and I don't know why. It's a nice watch. I don't have anything against the watch. There's not anything that jumps out that I dislike about it. It's just one of those watches in my collection that just does not get a lot of wear. Really no excuse whatsoever for that. But anyway, guys, let's jump into this Viaggio from Vesuviate Watches. All right, guys, so jumping into this Viaggio from Vesuviate Watches, very first thing that I noticed right off the bat when I pulled this guy out of the packaging was that dial. That almost scallop type design to the dial gives it a very, very classy look, in my opinion. And being a field watch, you know, obviously readability is going to be one of the most important properties, or one of the most sought after properties. So they accomplished this in a number of different ways. One, you see the painted numerals right on the dial here. That's painted with Super Lume BGW9. So we'll get some glowing pictures towards the end of this video. Definitely stick around to check those out. But also, if you notice real close, and we'll get some close-up shots, there are applied indices that are painted with that BGW9 Super Lume as well. Now, if we want to talk about the construction of this watch, this guy is rocking 316L stainless steel. If we take it out of here real quick, you will be able to see that we have a brushed and polished stainless steel bracelet, which anybody that knows me knows that I'm a huge fan of stainless steel bracelets. Right there on the crown, get a better look, you see the Vesuviate Watches logo, which is almost like a starburst. But while I'm over here, guys, one of the things that I'm going to point out is just look at how thin this watch is. And this is one of the reasons why I really enjoy this watch. I prefer, as I've gotten older in age, I prefer a thinner watch. This guy's coming in at about 11.3 millimeters, but it does have a domed sapphire crystal. That domed sapphire crystal is coated with a transparent AR coating, and that dome has about a 1.2 millimeter dome to it, so you can kind of see it there, but it's not hugely pronounced. Just gives it a nice design. And then again, back there with the Vesuviate logo right there on the crown. If we roll over and take a look at the clasp, now the clasp that this prototype has on it is a double fold-over locking clasp with the Vesuviate logo engraved right there in the lock as well. This one does have the micro adjustments on the side, but one of the things that I will point out, guys, that since I've gotten this watch, I've been in contact with the designer, and they're actually going to be swapping out, for the production models, they're going to be swapping out this double fold-over locking clasp and actually utilizing more of a diver type clasp with a ratcheting extension, similar to some of the other watches that I've had in the past. The one thing that I'm hoping, just based on my experience with those types of clasps in the past, is they tend to be very chunky, very thick. I hope that the actual production model of this guy maintains kind of that curvature and that thinness to that clasp. That's one of the things that I think people take for granted, especially when you're talking about the comfort of a watch. If we take a look overall from a size standpoint, the diameter of this watch is about 45.5 millimeters at the crown. So from the width of the watch is about 44.5 millimeters. Then we look over again, 11.3 millimeters on the thickness. The bracelet itself starts out at about 20 millimeters at the lug and then tapers down to about 18 millimeters at the bracelet. So it's a very comfortable, not overly large bracelet design, which I think coupled with that thin case, that thin movement, I think really adds for the comfort to this watch. Now, the movement in this watch is a Miyota caliber 9039, 24 jewel, 42 power reserve, automatic movement, does have hacking ability, and we'll get some close-up pictures in the back, but you can kind of see it there. It does have an open case back. You can see that rotor. That rotor does have the Vesuviate logo engraved on that as well. Obviously, they're branding all over the watch, which is great to see because they are proud of who they are. Towards the end of the video, I'll post up some wrist shots of this guy because I really do think this is a very comfortable watch, and I cannot wait to add one to my collection just because of the overall classic design. This is one of those field watches that, in my opinion, you can wear in a number of different manners. Like, chances are I will wear one of these in more of a dress watch type environment, whether I'm wearing it to work with a suit, dress shirt, whatever it may be, or it works just as well with a t-shirt. There's a number of different ways you can pair this watch, and I think overall I'm really digging that design. All right, guys, so now it's time for the big question. How much is this guy going to cost? Now, this guy's going to be starting on its Kickstarter campaign roughly around March 31st, and it's going to run until about April 14th. Now, anybody that has worked or followed Kickstarter before, followed watches on Kickstarter, you may know that sometimes those dates change a little bit just depending on how busy Kickstarter is, how long it takes them to approve the projects, and any other things that come up in the last minute when you're trying to run a Kickstarter campaign that might delay that. If those dates change at all, those guys, I'll post it up on my Instagram page as well as the website and post in the comments section down below on this video. Now, when this guy does launch on Kickstarter, there's going to be a 50-piece quantity set for the super early bird special. The super early bird special price for this watch is going to be $358 US. The early bird, which is 50 on up, is going to be $388. So if you get in on those first 50 pieces, March 31st, you get in there, you sign up for this Kickstarter campaign, you're going to be saving yourself about $30. And then they have bundled packages where if you buy 2 or 3 or more, prices come down respectively, just to make that more of a bundled package price for you. Now, when this guy is complete, all delivery will be done by FedEx International anywhere in the world. Overall, guys, I am really digging this watch. I think it's one of those watches that when you hear the word field watch, my mind, when somebody says field watch, my mind immediately goes to like a Boulder expedition or a Timex or, some kind of canvas strapped, leather strapped, extremely readable watch that isn't really, from a design standpoint, doesn't really jump out at you and grab you. It's just there. It's there for the tool functionality. But this field watch, I think, is a little bit different than the ones that I've seen, especially with that scallop dial. the thickness, the cleanliness to not only those painted numerals as well as those applied indices. You know, I think it's one of those watches that I'll likely end up wearing in more of a dress setting, as I mentioned. But anyway, guys, that is the Viaggio from Vesuviate Watches. If you stick around, I will post up some wrist shots and some other candid shots that I have with this watch prior to it continuing on its watch tour. Guys, if you want to follow us in the future, I mentioned in the beginning of the video, hit that subscribe button, punch that bell. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Instagram/watchaddiction.us. And as always, you can find me at mywatchaddiction.com. Thank you guys. Have a great week, and we will see you soon.